What's going on, and welcome to episode 6 of the Wilbur and Gold Show. I'm your host, Will Dalton, a.k.a. Wilbur and Gold, and whether you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, or listening through podcasts, it is a pleasure to have you in. A lot of football to get into. 49ers took on the Packers. Chiefs took on the Titans. The Super Bowl is finally set, and that leads us to our object of the day. Today's object of the day is this mini Panthers helmet, because the Panthers haven't been to the Super Bowl since 2015, and quite frankly, ever since then, it's been a little bit of a shit show. So a little bit later in the show, we're going to get into the Packers and the 49ers and why you can't put the Packers loss on Aaron Rodgers' shoulders, at least not all of it. But we're going to actually start off in Kansas City, where the Chiefs beat the Titans 35-24 and ended the Titans' little magical run they had going on there. And, you know, if you're a Titans fan, you should be very, very happy and, quite frankly, excited about the future, because I don't think anybody, well, if you're a Titans fan, maybe you expected that, but I think for us casual watchers, you know, of all the teams each week, we didn't expect that out of the Titans. I mean, we knew they were solid, but who knew that Ryan Tannehill was going to take the Titans to the fucking AFC Championship game? And quite frankly, I think most of us at the beginning of the season thought if the Titans did end up in that position, it would be Marcus Mariota taking them there, not Ryan Tannehill. Me personally, and I know the situation's a little bit different, but I look at Ryan Tannehill a little bit like Nick Foles. I know Nick Foles kind of took over that year when he took the Eagles to the Super Bowl and they won it against the Patriots, and that was 2 years ago, I think. He got in there through injury because Carson Wentz got hurt, and Ryan Tannehill got in because Marcus Mariota played like shit and got benched. Two different situations, but I think it's more so the principle that Ryan Tannehill was just kind of this overlooked, unlikely quarterback that you would not expect taking a team like the Titans to the AFC Championship game, just like Nick Foles was overlooked. He's been overlooked his whole career, and he gets in there, takes the Eagles to the Super Bowl, and let's be honest, none of us thought Nick Foles was going to take the Eagles to the Super Bowl and win. You know, a lot. I mean, everybody. I mean, that's why they had the dog masks. Everybody doubted them, and they went and they won. So to me, that's why Ryan Tannehill was kind of like this year's version of Nick Foles, even though, you know, they got stopped short in the AFC Championship game. But similarities were there. Now, if you're a Titans fan, like I said, you shouldn't be disappointed. The Titans, I think they just ran out of gas. And not to mention, I think they ran into the best player in football in Patrick Mahomes. I mean, when you look at what the Titans had to do to get in that position, they had to face some of the best teams in the AFC 4 straight weeks. There was the last week of the regular season when they were on the road, by the way. That's the more impressive part of all this. Last week of the regular season, they beat the Texans on the road down in Houston. Wild card weekend, they beat the Patriots on the road in New England. Last week, divisional round, they beat the Ravens, who were favored to win the whole damn thing. And then they came up short this week on the road in Kansas City against the Chiefs. You can't be upset with that, because I just think it's a matter of being on the road against so many good teams. They just ran out of gas, and I think that's just really all there is to it. I mean, the Titans were playing with house money, too. I mean, nobody expected them to be in that position. There's a bright future ahead for the Titans. I really think so. I don't know if it's with Ryan Tannehill. I don't know if he's going to be a one-hit wonder, kind of like Case Keenum and Blake Bortles were. And honestly, maybe even Nick Foles was a one-hit wonder, because, I mean, we see this year, I mean, he didn't get a ton of time with Jacksonville, but, he got hurt, and then he came back, and then he got benched for Gardner Minshew. So, I don't know. Could he end up being a one-hit wonder? Time will tell. Looking at the Chiefs side of things, I think we've all just been marveled at what the Chiefs have done in the last 2 weeks. I mean, last week against the Texans in the divisional round. They get down 24-0. We all are thinking, it's a wrap. I mean, I thought so. Which, I learned from that. I learned a valuable lesson about writing off Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid that quickly, which I do think us as sports fans do tend to be a little overreactionary and can be prisoners of the moment. And I'm actually going to get more into that here in just a second. But I actually thought we are actually about to have a Texans-Titans AFC Championship game. If that doesn't make you want to throw up in your mouth, I don't know what does. But then, boom, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs surge back and they end up winning 51-31. And then, they got down early yesterday against the Titans, which honestly, I hope, at least me anyway, I hope most of us learned our lesson because they didn't get down as much, but they did get down early. And then, of course, we saw what happened, and we had a final score of Chiefs 35, Titans 24. I think Patrick Mahomes just in the last 2 weeks reminded us who the fuck he and the Chiefs and Andy Reid are, because let's not forget they were that close to the Super Bowl last year. And then, we come in this year. I thought Patrick Mahomes would win back-to-back MVPs. Lamar Jackson is going to win the MVP, rightfully so. He earned every bit of it. I'm not taking anything away from Lamar Jackson. But, Mahomes dealt with injuries this year. And, when that happened, Lamar Jackson kind of stole the spotlight, stole the show. We were all talking about Lamar Jackson, and again, rightfully so, until when it mattered. Until that game against the Titans, when he and the Ravens looked like a shell of themselves. They did the exact same thing they did last year against the Chargers in the playoffs. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs and Andy Reid as a nucleus together, they've already shown their ability to come through when it matters. Lamar Jackson and the Ravens so far has run through the NFL for show when it doesn't matter. But when the chips are on the table, they've come up about that big. Let's get into the Packers and the 49ers. The 49ers beat the Packers 37-20. It was kind of an ass kicking on the part of the 49ers. The Packers came into this game 14-3, but it was a bloated 14-3. And what I mean by that is the Packers had it easy this year. They faced a lot of teams during the regular season that were banged up. They had the luxury of staying pretty much completely healthy all year long. They faced a Russell Wilson-led Seahawks team in the divisional round last week that, let's be honest, Russell Wilson carried that Seahawks team all year long. And, the Packers with Aaron Rodgers, they have a good offense. They took care of business over there because it was a relatively easy matchup. But I don't think you can put this loss... In fact, I'm going to tell you something else. I don't think Packers... Just the way I don't think Titans fans should be disappointed, I don't think Packers fans should be disappointed either. I actually think you overachieved this year. Like I said, that's a bloated 14-3. You got a lot of good breaks this year if you're the Packers. You're in good shape moving forward, assuming everything stays the same and you build on it. I mean, this was your head coach's first year, Matt LaFleur. First year as a head coach. He went to the NFC Championship game. Everybody wants to put this, well, not everybody, but a lot. I mean, you know how the media can be. There's certain players get certain blames from certain people. That's just kind of how it goes. That's the nature of the business. It's kind of happening today with Aaron Rodgers because, and it's actually happening more so today with Aaron Rodgers. It's already been happening with him for years because the argument against him, because let's be honest, until we saw Patrick Mahomes and then maybe potentially Lamar Jackson, depending on how he continues to develop on what he did this year, Aaron Rodgers is the best talent I think we've ever seen one of the best talents, if not the best, that we've ever seen at the quarterback position. But he doesn't have the achievements. He's kind of like the LeBron James of the NFL. I mean, he's the most athletic and the most talented we've ever seen, but he's kind of come up short. He's got one ring, but he's come up short in the last three he and the Packers have come up short in the last three NFC championships they've been a part of. But Aaron Rodgers, and again, much like LeBron's case, which is why he's almost identical situationally, he's not always had the help. He's usually not had the help. He's only just this year had a good running game. The Packers haven't, a lot of the time, had a very good defense. Now, keep in mind, the Packers went up against the 49ers. They are a historically good defense this year. We're probably the best defense in the league. As far as being a smash mouth defense, the 49ers were better than the Patriots on that. The Patriots were the best passing defense in the NFL, period. But as far as just gritty smash mouth defense, nobody was better than the 49ers. Nobody. Aaron Rodgers still had a relatively good game. I mean, the first half was not so good, but there again, you're going up against the best defense in the league, and maybe even one of the better ones of all time. He went 31 for 39, 326 yards, 2 touchdowns, which came late, and 2 interceptions. So, not a great day, but not bad. I mean, solid considering what he was going up against. Solid. I mean, he still threw for 326, 31 of 39, 2 touchdowns. So, you have to ask yourself, what is it that beat the Packers? It wasn't Jimmy Garoppolo. He completed 6 passes. They didn't get torched. A guy by the name of Raheem Mostert, I always think of mustard when I say his name, but Raheem Mostert, who ran for 220 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 29 carries. He scored 24 of their 37 points. That's why the Packers got smashed yesterday. Had nothing to do with Jimmy Garoppolo. It had less to do with Aaron Rodgers being bad, because he wasn't great, but he wasn't bad either. He was solid considering he was going up against the best defense in the league, and Aaron Rodgers is on the back half of his career. Let me tell you what the Packers' defense has been against the run all year. In the regular season of 32 teams, they're ranked 23rd, bottom half. In the postseason, against the rush, of 12 teams in the postseason, they were ranked 10th. So now we've got a Super Bowl matchup that will feature the 49ers against the Chiefs down in Miami in 2 weeks. I'm just going to leave you with this, and then we're going to get out of here. And I'm going to do a Super Bowl prediction a little later down the line. I'm not going to do that today. But I'll just leave you with this. This is an all-time defense in the 49ers going up against an all-time offense in the Chiefs. Buckle up, because this is about to be a show. I mean, not to mention, the Chiefs haven't won a Super Bowl since 1995. They've last been to one in 2013 when they lost to the Ravens, but they haven't won since 1995 against the Chargers. The Chiefs, they haven't been to a Super Bowl or won a Super Bowl since 1970 when they beat the Vikings. 50 years. So, both teams, it's been a little while since they got one. And you've got an all-time defense in the 49ers going up against an all-time offense in the Chiefs. Get the popcorn out.